Welcome to the K5 channel. Today we're going to check out this. Well, we're not actually going to check out this. This is from Mark. It was in my inbox. Thank you very much, Mark. Fantastic piece of kit. And just to give you an idea of, there you go, look at that. So we will be checking out this. In relation with this, as the title might suggest, I gave myself a challenge this week. And we're going to be checking out some RMZ from ELISIODIECAST. So stay tuned. Lone Star Impies, or Flyers, or whatever this one is at the end here. What's this? This is just a straight up Impy, and it's called a GT Rally, but we all know that that is a Corvette Stingray. Well, it looks like a 1967 Corvette Stingray. So what do all these cars have in common? Apart from being from the same company, it, I think, is their size. So if I put them all next to each other, they're all pretty much the same size. So I can just take one of them and we'll measure it. There you go, bang on 3 inches. They are quite big. I mean, they're all different scales. So let's take this one for an example. This is the 173 scale Impy supercar. Now they're called supercars because everything, and I mean everything, opens. Gives you a bit of detail. The wheels even steer, and it's got jeweled headlamps. This Corsair is from the same period. Again, it's got all the same kind of features. Steering wheels, lots of unnecessariness going on, but this was the flavour, and this was probably the flavour was probably set up by Matchbox at the time. So we're talking around about 1966, 67 when these cars were in flavour. And this is probably the most amazing model you would probably get. This one's in 158 scale. Obviously, if you know your English cars, you would know that this Chrysler Imperial is probably the biggest American car you're ever going to get. And there's no way that, even though this thing is big, it's not that big. And the same goes with this Toyota 2000 GT. This one is set up in, it doesn't say. And again, it's obviously smaller than that. And likewise with this piece here. Another interesting thing about Impys is in the 60s, we had all this going on. Late 60s, Superfast come out, and we see a kind of introduction of a Superfast style suspension and wheel. These are quite interesting wheels. These are single, well, the axle goes straight through the wheel. And here we see a later piece. This is very Maisto, very simple, very cheap to produce. The suspension is all part of the base plate, a lot like a Corgi, and this would have been produced late 70s, possibly even early 80s, right at the end of the Lone Star Impy interest in such a thing. Relevance of all this lot? Well, boom. I just found another one. Fantastic, look at that. It's a little beastie. And of course, it's 3 inches long. So there you go. Of course, everyone who knows the Lotus Europas will know that they're actually really, really tiny. Little tiny mid-engine cars produced in 1968-69. And kind of like flushed through till around about 73, 74. Interesting thing on this one, look, scale model, no scale noted on there, but I have found some stuff online. And it says it's 152 scale, so that's massive, really, for what it is. What to do with it? Well, I think I'm going to have to do a little restore on it. It's good enough to see what it was, but it would be nicer still to see what it could be. Won't have to do a lot to it really. A little bit of painting, a little bit of detailing. They come apart really easy. This mid-period area, screw down bases. Let's take it apart and have a look. This is why they're so nice to do up. Also, I want to show you something else as well. So, very easy. Base comes off. That's the suspension, that big nylon bar that goes right across the middle of the car. Does everything. As you can see, it's got a spring in one of the slots, and that's it. That's what holds the wheels in. Also, that plastic bar extends below the wheel and actually stops the wheels from falling out. Interior, just a nice big lump of plastic. Very easily done. You can see it's a folded up steering wheel. Hence the reason why they can cast in a open steering wheel. A little bit of detail inside there. Nice engine bay detail actually. And the main car, it's got opening doors. Of course they'll be easy to take out, but I won't take them out right now. It's just a simple spring there, a lot like a clothes peg. And the back here, that piece is kind of clamped in with the but I'm not going to take that out, won't need to. And the transparency in this car, which was in excellent condition, I did clean it up of course, but it didn't need a lot of work. It's just that simple little piece. There you go. These wheels, if you notice, there's no wire poking through, and that is because they are capped. And if one of these actually comes off, but you can't really see it, but there's actually like a cap in there, a little bit like a Hot Wheel, like an old red line. Not sure how long they use those wheels for, but they would actually look quite nice on this one. Maybe use those wheels on this one. Are they the same width? No. It looks like they're staying as they are. There you go. And as they say, it is what it is. Just in case anyone was wondering about the kind of stripper that I use, and I think Can-Am uses it as well, Can-Am Customs, we use Nitromors paint and varnish remover. I use super strength because you don't need too much of it. So you get your Nitromors in the pod and you just brush it all over the car. Okay, so it's a little bit like putting paint on, except in this case we're putting the stuff on to get the paint off. And it reacts really fast. You can leave the car in this state for a little while. See, look, the paint's just falling off already. Look at that. It's good to agitate it with a brush like that. There you go.
Hello and welcome, this is Elisio, and today I will talk about a little well-known brand called RMZ CD. This is the typical RMZ CD box. This one is the part of the junior collection. RMZ CD is an Asian brand. They belong to a group called Unifortune Toys, and they're based in Hong Kong with factories in China. It was established in 1996, and they've grown quite a bit since then. They are pretty easy to find here in Vietnam, at least until recently. So they are specialized in different scales, starting at 132, the most popular and easy to find here in Vietnam, 143 scale, and 164. And 164, and also in some of the other scales, they have three different versions: freewheel, pullback, and junior. And with each, there's a different level of quality and detail. This is their basic range, very, very basic range. The junior one. It's also extremely cheap. It's cheaper than Hot Wheels here by at least 30% or more. And why is it so cheap? Well, mostly because, as you can see, there's no interior. They have very generic wheels, and yeah, they're reduced to their most basic details. Basic details doesn't mean there's no details at all. As you can see, you have painted taillights here. In the case of this one, you don't have painted taillights, but they do have painted taillights on some cases. Metal on plastic. This one is plastic. And yeah, so this one is the Lamborghini Murcielago LP570-4SV, and this one is the junior version, the most basic. After that, you have the pullbacks and the freewheels, and as you can see, there's a noticeable jump in quality with, in this case, better headlights. Interior, as you can see here, rubber tires. Come on, focus. Rubber tires, yes. Actually, there's also difference in the base with the, it's going to be hard to see, but as you can see, the grille here is more detailed. Some detail also in the back. The exhaust. And then also pullback. So they're still toys, but as you can see in terms of proportion, they're true to scale. I think they're, if they're not 1/64, they're very, very close. And in terms of detail, there's no fancy exaggerations, nothing. No, it's a very good replica of the actual car. It's actually one of my favorite brands because of that. Because no matter what's your budget, you still get a fairly good replica of the car. And I started collecting those first in this scale, their 132 scale, which is pretty common to find here. Actually, it even looks more like they're peg warmers because they were pretty much everywhere and very easy to find. And this is for the price of a premium Hot Wheels. And also pullback. So still toys, but fairly accurate. And most of the cars that they have in 132, you can also find them in 164. And this one, another thing that you can see, one of the difference you can see between some cases, the junior and the pullback version, is that in some cases they jump from just painted details to plastic lenses. Painted in the back, very cool wheels, as you can see, and pullback. And they have quite a lot of things. They have official licenses. Everything is in true 164. So here, one of their transporters, for example, as you can see here, can carry with no problem 3 cars, something that the Hot Wheels transporters will not be able to do. And when you compare the size of the truck to the size of the car, it's fairly accurate too. There you go. And it's also fully articulated. Yep, there you go. And all that, as I said, very cheap, good quality. This one is not really rubber, but it's some kind of soft plastic. Very good. Why am I talking about this all of a sudden? Is that because even though the 132 scale models are still easy to find here, the 164 models just kind of disappear. And it's been like that for a few years, until today I found out that they are actually sold again in Vietnam in selected stores under a new name. And I found a bunch of them.
So I'll leave the car outside for a while, see how it gets on, and just every now and again pop out to give it a squidge with the brush. But that's it really. It's on the mud kitchen in the garden.
Yes, Speedbird 572 flying over Mallorca. We hope you're enjoying this wonderful flight of the Concorde. as we pass at an enormous rate of speed. And I hope that you're enjoying your chicken in a basket and your individual can of Pepsi, because we really do like to spoil you. What a plane this is, even though it's rather blunt on the front, not very pointy, but it certainly looks wonderful, doesn't it? Well, of course you can't see it because you're inside, but believe you me, when you step out and look at this wonderful bird, you'll have your breath taken away. And probably some of your guts too.
So while the rest of the car is sitting around outside being cogitated with Stripper, I thought I'd have a look at the interior and see if there's anything we can do to sort it out. And the first thing I noticed was the delicate nature of this connection between the steering wheel and the rest of the body, and I don't want to lose that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it. So when I'm gluing stuff, I've been using Gorilla Super Glue, and I use the gel. And the reason I use gel is because it you put it somewhere and it stays where you want it to stay. And also remember to shake it up before you use it. So here we go. And apply the gel. It just slip. You can see it coming down. There we are, and it just pops out the bottom there. And just offering the model up to the glue. I mean, it's not broken. What the idea of this is to give the plastic there just a little bit more integrity. And then if it does snap, it snaps. It's the way. But hopefully, I've kind of welded a little bit of extra strength into that. The next question is, once that's dry, am I going to paint it? Probably. I might actually just paint the chairs, actually, and the engine bay. Even though it's chromed in there, I still fancy putting some black in just to give it some more depth. That's about it, really. Chairs and engine bay. We'll leave the rest silver for now. If you've ever wondered what to do with those wonderful blisters you get on the front of your current Matchbox cars, and I think they do them on Auto World as well, don't they? I use those to put all the bits and bobs in that I'm not using and hopefully not losing.
I would so like it in green, red, or red and green. This is the Matchbox Jaguar SS100 in various different sizes and colours. So this story starts with me getting this yesterday off eBay. Eventually arrived, it was a little bit late, and it is the 1982 model, actually made in England, and this came on a card, bubble card, and I did take it out of its packaging after its imprisonment of 37 years. You will see that the windscreen mounting has twisted slightly. Seems to be a common complaint, but it's particularly attractive. It is not the best rendition of a SS100, it has to be said, but it has its charm and appeal, and it's nice and shiny, and it was made in England right at the end of production for the Matchbox miniatures. Yesteryear production carried on for a bit longer. And talking of yesteryears, here is the 1977 model's the yesteryear model of the same car, as you can see. The yesteryears obviously carried on for a bit longer. This isn't the best example I've got of it. It's a bit knocked about, but it is green, which is a bit more correct. And I have got it in blue, the light blue, which is one of the early colours it came out in. So as you can see, there is a commonality going on, and one imagines that the idea was to do big and small versions of things, and this idea extends to the Citroen Traction Avant, which appeared as a dinky, but it also appeared as a small scale one in about 1982, at the same time as this one came out. So this red and green one is a PG Tips T offer. They did a Model A van in the same idea, so it's taking the colours of PG Tips, which the logo is in green and red. So you can see how things can spin around as ideas. Matchbox also produced the SS100 as a plastic kit, and that appeared, I think, around about 1976 or thereabouts. So you can see that once they got onto an idea, they extended it across a number of different platforms. So there we go, a little bit of Jaguar, or Jaguar if you're viewing this in the United States of America.
Times they are a-changing, and it's the mid-1970s now, and Corgi tuners are pretty well established, and whiz wheels are almost out of the window, and we're not going to see the likes of this again, because you're starting to see this. This is the Corgi Tom and Jerry car, obviously not in very good condition. I do need to get myself probably a new set of these. There was a Tom and Jerry and there's a Jerry and a Tom of this. Obviously based on the original, a little bit bigger, but you know what? That's heavier. The little one is heavier than this this later model. But there you go, just to show you graphically the production cost cuts that were being made during that period. Here's another piece. This is a Bugs Bunny car, Corgi. It's yeah, let's see, 1979. It's got a nice bugs in there though, made out of rubber. He survived very well actually with his carrot car. Big bulging front irons there. And a lot of pieces I'm going to show you are kind of licensed models now. We've got various different stickers stuck on the side of trucks there. Must have been getting money for that, or at least some kind of promotional income. That's a Leyland truck. Very nice piece actually. Ideal for advertisements. I think they use buses a lot for that as well back in the day. Here's another nice piece. This is the Kojak car. Everyone remembers Kojak. He was the guy who, with the bald head, used to like lollipops and solving crimes. And here's the regular standard issue, which the casting has dwindled somewhat. The Buick Regal. It's got the same pat numbers and everything on the base. Nothing really different about it. Except for, oh look, the stamping on the base is different on the way it's put together. Nice bit of chrome on that Buick as well. Has it got a chrome interior? Yes, it does. So there you go. The chrome carries right through to the grille and to the bumpers. And in the same vein, there's a little bit of Starsky and Hutch going on. This was the first and only Starsky and Hutch you could get until I think Johnny Lightning put one out. This is really good condition. Chrome, no expense spared, plastic base, no interior I don't think. And that is also shown this one, which is very, very cheaply done. Literally a two-piece casting, or three-piece if you include the windscreen. That is 100%. It's all going on in Britain. Yeah, this is just the end of it. This has got to be the 80s, isn't it? Although the this is a 1970s classic TV series, end of the late 70s. Fantastic. I don't know anyone that didn't watch Starsky and Hutch. I like this little novelty fire engine. Quite a late piece again. Does it say where it's made? We're starting to see a little bit of China creeping in here, probably, with this one. I think it's got some carriages out there somewhere, which I don't have yet. There's a whole range of Land Rovers. So we'll start with this one. This is the earlier model, I believe. Corgi Junior, whiz wheels on the base. Plastic bases. That one's gnarly. I might send it off to the body shop. And a slightly different green, a bit more military. As you can see there. Very nice. That's a third generation Series 3 Land Rover. Very nice. So that's probably from the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s. As are these. These are all pickups. So we start off with the whiz wheel, which the wheels are de-whizzed quite considerably, and it's been through the mill, that one. We end up with this lovely police version, which doesn't even tell you it's Corgi on the base. That's the state of things. We're going through a period of recession here. Manufacturing is becoming tricky. It's just no good, is it? Look, they've actually crossed off the Corgi on the base there. It's got that bad. I mean, this might not have even been released as a Corgi, but it's definitely the Corgi casting, as can be seen from its contemporaries. Wow.
Here are two Corgi Citroen SMs, which the S and M is nothing to do with some strange practice that adults get up to occasionally. It is in fact, I think, System Maserati, because Citroen bought Maserati in the late 1960s and this was the fruit of their labour. Not these models, but obviously the real car. So, reason for making this is I've had this lovely sort of, I don't know what colour you'd call that, metallic lime one for a while. In very good condition. I can't for the life of me remember where I got it from actually, but it was, I don't know, but I was very fortunate getting it. This one I picked up recently from a friend who had got it at a sale. It's seen better days in lots of ways. There's lots of paint missing off it, the rear windscreen's gone, the rear screen is gone, the parcel shelf's gone, the insets for the wheels have gone. So it's looking a bit sorry for itself, but I'm not that worried because I always wanted to have a pink variation, so I have got both. So just so you can see the bits that are missing, that's the tailgate, and that is the parcel shelf, which flops down. So really very much the zenith of what Corgi were up to in the early 1970s before things started to go a little bit wrong in some ways, I think. Very nice indeed.
After an hour in the Nitromores, this is what she looks like, and all those peaks and everything else, that's all the paint peeling away from the metal, and it's time to brush it off and give it a clean, and probably a little bit of a rub down. Fascinating, really. 50 years of paint. And there it is. All the paint is off. And you can actually see quite a lot of detail now that there is no paint on it. Prior to the paint coming off, you wouldn't have known that there was rims around those headlamps. Tons and tons of casting lines that I'm going to definitely get rid of. Give this the premium treatment that it deserves. I will probably paint the rims around the windows. They really are lending themselves as raised areas to some extra detail. Interesting design features on this car, really reminiscent of the 2000 GT, as you can see there. I think Cozy will appreciate those doors. But as we run around the car, you can see lots and lots of casting lines. They can come off. I need to check to see whether there is supposed to be that rim that actually looks like it's supposed to be there on the just above the door. As I run around the back of the car, under the bumpers there, that can come off, I think. And I'm probably going to drill that exhaust port, I think it's an exhaust port. I know there's supposed to be an exhaust at the rear of this car. From the photographs, the exhaust was on the other side, but I think for now we'll just keep it where it is.
So what is tinitoy or tiny toy? Tinitoy is part of a franchise here that has toy stores and playgrounds called either Tiny Stores or Tiny World. And now apparently they have their own brand of cars. And I know it's RMZ City because first of all, they have all the official licenses. Also, they're sold at the same price as RMZ City before. And as you can see here, it's made by Unifortune Toys Industrial Limited. So they're back. Those are all the part of the junior line, none of the premium pullback or others. But the good thing is that most of them are fairly new models, like this one. The Lamborghini Aventador SV Coupe. Or what about this one? The Bentley Continental GT, the brand new version. I have never seen this in 1/64 scale before. Another one, the Maserati Gran Turismo MC. Pretty cool. Or the 2018 Aston Martin Vantage. And all of them have front detail and back detail. The only thing that gives them away as low quality stuff, or let's say, is no interior and basic wheels. So let's have a closer look to all of these models, starting with the Aston Martin. So to me, this is a very good casting. All of them have side mirrors, by the way. I don't think there's any other Aston Martin Vantage in 1/64 scale at this time. Maybe in some premium lines somewhere, costing quite a penny. And I really like this casting, very well done. The only thing that could be improved, but that is excusable in this case, are not the wheels as such, but the way they don't fit really. They should be a little bit more out on both sides to give it a more aggressive stance and to feel these arcs better. So there you have it, the Aston Martin. Let's check that Aventador, shall we? So pretty cool. How does it compare to the, yeah, in terms of scale, seems to be in the same ballpark. I like it a lot, very well done. I should compare it to the, maybe, to the Tarmac Works, because I think that's the only other SV currently available on the market. Or is it? That's the only one I can remember. So there you go. Or the R8 V10. Sadly, this is not the new or the R8, but still a good model to have. And I have a premium version of this one, and it's a really, really nice one. One of my favorite Audi in my collection. So here is the Audi R8. Next we have the Nissan GTR. I didn't have one, and since I collect Nissan GTRs, it's nice to have one. So this is the older model. This is not the 2017 update. but still very good. Way better than the Hot Wheels version, I can tell you that. No painted taillights, maybe? I don't know. See, that kind of thing. You don't see it in Hot Wheels. That's too detailed for Hot Wheels. And still, this is cheaper than Hot Wheels. Go figure. That Bentley. I was very surprised to find this one. So, is there another one? Is there another brand who has already done the new Bentley Continental GT? I don't think so. I can't think of any. I know there's some coming from either Mini GT or Tarmac Works or brands like this, but they're premium, costing $20 a pop, or $10 in case of a Mini GT. Look at this. Look at this grid. Yeah, I like it a lot. Very well done. Very well done. Big Coupe's Maserati Gran Turismo MC. Yeah. Yeah, nicely done. The logo is cool. It looks exactly like the real thing. Looks like they get away with the painted taillights when the color is red. No defects. Yeah. The Mercedes-Benz E63 AMG. There we go. The big sedan. So this one is a little bit goofy in the size of the logo here, the emblem. But everything else, I mean, I dig it. They're a bit light, but not that light. I mean, there's Matchbox that are lighter than this. And they don't even compare in terms of detail and accuracy. And I'm not in a crusade against Matchbox Hot Wheels, I'm just stating some facts. And last, for the singles, the Land Rover Range Rover Sport. There you go. Yeah. I hope they will make the premium versions, pullback versions available here too, because they look so much better. And those already look great. And I also bought, they also have those 3-packs here. So I think those are made exclusively for Vietnam because everything is written in Vietnamese here. And as you can see, they have the licenses for Volkswagen, Honda, BMW, Audi, Toyota, General Motors, Nissan. They still have Toyota. That's weird, isn't it? Because I thought nobody had the license anymore. Land Rover, Lamborghini, and even Porsche, but I didn't find any Porsche. So this 3-pack, I got this one because it looks like they have this one as an exclusive, the Lamborghini Huracan Coupe. I found this one's as singles, but this one I couldn't. And I only got those 8 cars as singles, but there was plenty more, either color variations or other models that I either already had or that I was not particularly interested to get at this time. So let's start with the Huracan. Oh yeah. Hey, painted taillights. Hey. Okay. So the front lights are a little bit weird. Too big, I think, compared to the real thing. But the rest is cool. Very cool. So another Lamborghini. Next, we have the Audi A5. Very, yeah, nice detail on the front. Pretty cool paint, I have to say. And detail on the back again. Will you look at that? And finally, the Chevrolet Corvette Grand Sport. Oh, so this one is more of a modern, a more current version. This one is the C6, and this one is the C7. So great, I didn't have that one. Cool. Yeah. Very well done. The logo is a bit big, but everything else is cool. So there you have it. A quick introduction to RMZ CD. If you can find them in your town, well, you should definitely check them out, because they don't do fantasy models. They only do accurate replicas of real cars, and most of them are pretty awesome. And otherwise, eBay is your best bet. So thank you for watching. See you again next time. Bye.
Okay, some time back I had shown you pictures or video of this Matchbox Ford Zodiac Mark IV in a rather knackered state, and so this is what I've done with it. Okay, so it's got these two-piece late 60s Matchbox wheels. I've painted the interior, done the engine by just doing a bit of blacking on there, just over the top of the chrome, so it looks like it's actually, you know, in use. That is a replacement bonnet from Steve Flowers Model Supplies. We've done some detailing there, and then I did just a simple detailing on the back. So there's not a lot to it. Unfortunately, the casting was a bit rough. It's got a bit of metal fatigue on it. But yeah, I thought you might want to see the update on that. So if I ever get another one of these, I will do it in the bronze I said I was going to do it. It just happens to be that I had some silver, so I thought I'd give it a go. It's a pretty accurate colour. This bonnet doesn't sit down properly always. But there you go.
Well, here we are at the end of the programme, and yes, it took me exactly 1 week to produce this. So basically I bought it on a Wednesday, and today is a Wednesday, and this is what I came up with. I didn't particularly rush it. I was obviously had to wait for paint to dry. I had to pick my moments when I could do stuff. I filed it all down, as you can see there, before undercoating it, of course. Took one coat of undercoat, even though the car was wet still. That's the thing you have to do between coats, is you need to give it a good little wash with some fairy liquid and water. Just clean off any grease that's on there, because it will affect the way the paint sits on the car. There's a little bit of where the paint dripped. It just thinned out a lot on the side there, but it doesn't really show too much. Basically, it took me 2 coats, or 1.5 coats, you could say, just a touch-up coat to do the yellow, and then one very nice thick coat of the varnish, and it came out really nice. Now this car is a Lone Star, and it is 3 inches long, as we know, based on the Lotus 47, or probably the 1966 is when the 47 came out. 67 they started producing these cars, in 68, so this is probably around about 1968, this car. based on the S1. You can tell that because of the indicator position. The later models had indicators on the top next to the lights, and also had a little bit of a step in the back there. I was going to put an exhaust port on there. I might still do that. It's just a case of drilling out this and then sticking in a little bit of aluminium tubing. I've got it ready, but I kind of like this as it was, and quite pleased with the way it came out. So as you can see, I gave the engine a wash, just highlighted any of the other bits that I wanted to highlight. Those lovely carbs in there, look at those, and Webbers, and gave the interior a once over with some black, nothing too special in there. Did the doors, and there you go. So this is an early model Lotus Europa in 1/52 scale, amazingly, which is huge. There's the base. I like the bases. I picked out some other models that kind of fall in that 3-inch odd scale category. First of all is this Tomica Fiat 500 in 1/51 scale. So this is actually a little bit bigger in scale than this Lotus, but it's still tiny. It's nice how Tomica could give us probably a 2.5 inch model, but it kind of gives you an idea of the size of the Europa actually. And also this piece here, this is a welly, comes in their 160 range, and obviously is much bigger than 164, but that actually looks quite good next to the Lotus. Probably not as good as this one, but then it looks pretty good next to that little Fiat. As we know, Fiats are tiny, and also we know that these Minis are very small as well when you see them scooting off down the road. I've got a feeling this Mini though, it's probably closer to 150 scale, only because I've got this 150 Siku Fiat 500, and there you go. So it's kind of about right. That's what you would see in the traffic, I guess. And again, this model is only 2.5 inches long, so it doesn't really fit into my 3-inch scale. Whereas the model I showed you at the start, which Mark sent me, this is unusually 3 inches long. Just to show you, we have a 3-inch car. Boom. And there you go. Anyway, hope that's hope there's a few things cleared up for you there. This is K5 saying thanks for watching, thanks to Elisio, and thanks to Mark, and we'll see you soon. Lovely. Ta for now.